wondered what it takes to make history? Not just once, but so many times that the impossible starts to look completely normal? Because that's exactly what Jungkook just did. In a single week, he didn't just perform on one of the biggest stages on Earth, he broke World Cup history, moved an entire stadium in Paris to tears, and quietly extended one of the greatest chart records ever achieved by an Asian solo artist. If you thought 2026 already belonged to BTS, wait until you see what Jungkook accomplished. Let's dive in. The world was already watching. Millions of football fans, millions of music lovers. More than 1 billion eyes focused on one event, the 2026 FIFA World Cup final. For the very first time in history, the tournament introduced an official halftime show for the World Cup final, instantly creating one of the most prestigious stages any artist could ever dream of. And standing right at the center of that stage was Jungkook. Not alone this time, but together with all 7 members of BTS. It was a full circle moment that felt almost unreal. Back in 2022, Jungkook stood alone in Qatar as the voice of the World Cup opening ceremony, introducing Dreamers to the world and becoming the first Korean artist ever to perform at a FIFA World Cup ceremony. Many believe that moment could never be repeated. Instead, he somehow made history again. This wasn't simply another performance. This was something no male artist and no Asian artist had ever achieved before. Jungkook officially became the first and only male and Asian performer to appear on multiple FIFA World Cup stages across consecutive tournaments. Think about that for a second. Thousands of singers have dreamed about performing at the World Cup. Only a handful have ever received that opportunity. But Jungkook didn't just receive it once. He returned, and somehow made an even bigger impact. As BTS appeared on the massive center stage, the stadium exploded with excitement. Then came one of the most unforgettable little details of the night. During Dynamite, Jungkook playfully changed one famous lyric. Instead of singing, "Kick the drum," he smiled and sang, "Kick the ball." A tiny change, yet it instantly connected music with football, making the performance feel as though it had been created specifically for that historic night. Fans immediately loved it. Social media exploded. Within moments after the performance ended, Jungkook recorded more than 800,000 online mentions, becoming the most talked about solo artist connected to the 2026 World Cup. Google Trends worldwide surged so dramatically that reports described it as reaching the platform's highest measurable level. His name climbed to the #1 search position globally. Imagine finishing one performance and having the entire internet race to search your name. Even one of YouTube's biggest creators, iShowSpeed, watched Jungkook's performance live, joining millions around the world who couldn't look away. And perhaps the most incredible part? The halftime lineup included global superstars like Justin Bieber, Shakira, Burna Boy, and Madonna. Yet when conversations exploded online afterward, Jungkook became one of the biggest names everyone was discussing. That says everything. But here's what makes this story even more emotional. Just before taking over the World Cup final, Jungkook had already left Europe completely speechless. BTS wrapped up their Arirang European tour at the legendary Stade de France in Paris. Their return to the venue after 7 years became nothing short of historic. Across 2 nights, around 180,000 fans filled the stadium. Each concert welcomed approximately 92,000 people, setting a new attendance record for a single performance at the venue. Just imagine that scene. Tens of thousands of voices, different countries, different languages, different cultures, yet everyone singing together, in Korean. It was one of those moments that reminds you music really doesn't need translation. Then Jungkook surprised everyone. Instead of performing another global pop hit, he began singing one of Korea's most treasured traditional songs, Arirang. Not simply singing it, but performing it with beautiful traditional vocal techniques, delicate ornamentation, and emotional expression rarely heard in modern stadium concerts. For many international fans, it became their first time hearing the legendary folk song, and they were captivated. Videos spread rapidly online. Comments poured in from every direction. People wrote that Jungkook could sing every genre effortlessly. Others said they wanted to hear an entire album of traditional Korean music from him. Many couldn't believe how naturally he blended modern pop vocals with centuries-old Korean musical tradition. It wasn't simply beautiful. It felt meaningful. At one of the world's largest concerts, Jungkook introduced part of Korea's cultural identity to thousands upon thousands of international fans. That alone became one of the most talked about moments of the European tour. But the emotional climax hadn't arrived yet. As the final concert came to an end, Jungkook couldn't hide his feelings anymore. While singing the last song, tears filled his eyes. Then he spoke honestly. He admitted that even before falling asleep the previous night, his heart already hurt because he knew Paris would soon be over. He said he had been incredibly happy throughout the entire European tour. He didn't want to leave. He would miss everyone. And he promised something every fan wanted to hear. "I'll come back as soon as possible." Then, he looked toward the crowd and said, "Je vous aime." I love you. In French. The stadium erupted. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't dramatic. It simply felt genuine. Even French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron attended the first night's concert. They were seen enjoying the show while holding official Army bomb light sticks. Later, President Macron personally shared videos from the concert, along with a congratulatory message on social media. Moments like these show just how far BTS's influence has grown. When world leaders become audience members, you know something extraordinary is happening. But while all these unforgettable moments unfolded on stage, Jungkook was quietly continuing another kind of history. One measured not by cheers, but by numbers. His legendary solo debut song, 7. Most hit songs disappear after a few weeks. Some survive a few months. Only the rarest songs remain for years. Yet 7 continues doing exactly that. The song has now spent an astonishing 156 consecutive weeks on Billboard's global excluding US chart. That's the longest chart run ever achieved by an Asian solo artist. And the milestones don't stop there. On Spotify's weekly top songs global chart, 7 has also reached its 156th week. Again, the longest run ever for an Asian solo artist. Think about how unbelievable that is. Every single week, new songs arrive. New artists debut. New trends take over social media. Yet somehow, 7 refuses to disappear. Years after its release, listeners around the world continue pressing play. The song has now surpassed an incredible 3.02 billion Spotify streams, becoming the first song by an Asian artist released in 2023 to cross that remarkable milestone. Its music video has also exceeded 625 million YouTube views. Those aren't just impressive statistics, they're evidence of something much bigger. Longevity. Because breaking records is one thing, keeping them alive for years is something completely different. And maybe that's the biggest reason Jungkook continues surprising the world. He isn't chasing history anymore. History seems to keep finding him. One week, he's introducing Korean tradition to nearly 200,000 fans in Paris. Days later, he's rewriting World Cup history in front of millions. At the very same time, songs released years ago continue setting records almost no one imagined were possible. Different stages, different audiences, different achievements. One artist. As BTS enters yet another remarkable chapter together, Jungkook continues proving that true global influence isn't built through one unforgettable moment. It's built by creating unforgettable moments, again and again and again. And somehow, every time the world thinks they've seen the biggest achievement yet, Jungkook finds another way to make history. So what do you think was the most unforgettable moment? His record-breaking World Cup halftime performance, his emotional rendition of Arirang in Paris, or the incredible longevity of 7 on the global charts? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed discovering these amazing achievements, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next incredible BTS story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.